I think we are live on Facebook after some technical challenges today. It took us like 25 minutes or 30 minutes to solve, but I think we are live on Facebook. So welcome to our daily update of Ascending Harvest. I'm your host, Paul Hoyt, and with my business partner and resident genius, Shane McKenna, that you're going to find out a lot more about his genius here in just a few minutes. Today we're doing part 2 of our series on intelligent grow media. Yesterday, we talked a lot about soil and the functions of soil and how to really set up today's conversation about how intelligent grow media provides all of the functions that soil provides, but does it, I think, even a better way. I call it, a better soil replacement system. So Shane's the inventor of intelligent grow media. I'm going to do a quick recap, and then I'm going to ask him some questions, and he's going to jump in. I think he is sharing to various Facebook pages now as we talk.
Yeah, I am. And so I'm ready to jump in with questions. I'm keeping my computer on, so if anybody is watching this live and you want to bring a comment or a question, I'll check my computer every now and then and we'll address that.
That's very cool. Hang on just a second. I'm going to just share this with my timeline here.
I know this is terribly exciting for everybody, but it's a necessary part when we're just a two-man team.
Yeah, we need to get
the Paul and Shane Broadcasting Company is a company of two.
I think we're ready to go right now. So, as I said, today's the second day of our discussion on intelligent grow media. I do have a little bit of progress to report. I always like to give a little progress at the start of these. So yesterday we added all of the videos that we have done to a blog page on our website. Go to ascendingharvest.com and click on the blog link, and you'll see all of the videos that we've done so far, including yesterday's, which is the first part of a discussion on intelligent grow media. Of course, we'll be adding new blog entries every day as we create these updates. So please do that. And while you are there on the home page, please sign up to be on our list. When you sign up, you'll get some cool messages. You'll get an opportunity to be entered into prize drawings, which we'll do a little bit later on in the webcast today, or in the Zoomcast, as I like to call them. So with that, yesterday we talked about intelligent grow media a little bit, but mostly we talked about the functions of soil. You know, the functions of soil when it comes to growing plants is like 4 or 5 things. Number one, they deliver water, nutrients, minerals, and oxygen, right? To
oxygen and nitrogen. They deliver air.
They deliver air to the plants because plants not only get air, oxygen and air from the atmosphere, but they also get them in the roots through the soil, through the oxygen and nitrogen that's stored in the soil. And they provide a way for the roots to anchor so that the plants can grow big and tall. Without that anchoring, then the plants would just flop over in the slightest breeze. I have to confess that when I first started taking a look at hydroponics, I was thinking of plants just floating in water like lily pads in a pond. I had no idea that hydroponics was sophisticated enough to even have such a thing as an intelligent grow media, or rather grow media. You know, so this is all news to me. And then Shane talks about his invention of intelligent grow media and how that is, you know, a lot better than other forms of grow media because it does the functions of soil only a lot better. So Shane, talk to us about how you came to invent intelligent grow media and what it is and why it's intelligent and why for many, many growing situations it's actually better than soil.
So many years ago, probably going back about 9 or 10 years ago now, I was the chief technical officer for a very large indoor farming startup. And we had some huge projects slated that were being funded. And in that process of working through the technical challenges of this indoor hydroponic farming system, there was a deficiency in the technology. And I realized that if a technology could be invented to solve this particular deficiency, then it would be game-changing in not only hydroponic farming, but in other areas of farming as well. So that began this quest, even after Agrosphere no longer existed. I continued to think about how can I solve this issue that we had with Agrosphere. And what I came up with is a precursor to intelligent grow media. In the hydroponic world, there are materials that are very water-loving. They're called hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means it wants to absorb water. And they use some of these materials to get plants started because the roots can't reach down to where the water is in some of these hydroponic systems, so they use a wick. And it works just like dipping the corner of a paper towel into some water. The water travels up the wick. It gets to the tiny roots of the seedling, and then the roots of the seedling grow down the wick and into the water. And so in these float systems and some other systems out there, this is how they get the plants started. And it occurred to me that a wicking material was the answer. And so I started combining wicking material along with other support materials in unique ways. And that was extremely successful. However, there were some limitations. So it took me several more years of testing and many prototypes and many iterations of rounds of testing before I got to something that solved all of the problems that I found associated with hydroponics. Once I did that, then I started building systems that I could test this new material usage, and the results have been fabulous.
So tell me what some of those problems were. What were some of those deficiencies that you noticed, that really you wanted to overcome with intelligent grow media?
So one of the biggest advantages of the wicking material is the fact that it draws water into the material so freely. However, because it was a consistent weave, the entire body of the material was one consistent weave, like any fabric that you would think of. This consistent weave allowed roots to grow into it, but not through it. And because the roots couldn't go through it, only the hair roots, the very small roots, could grow into the wicking fabric, and there was no path for the roots to penetrate, and therefore the plant was confined by whatever boundaries were created by the fabric. And that's a problem because you limit the space that the roots have available to them. The roots were getting lots of water and nutrient, but the roots have to be big enough to create and hold a sugar supply that can support the entirety of the plant. And in those first systems, the plants would initially start out amazing, and then they would reach a plateau where they just simply couldn't grow anymore because there wasn't enough root space in the system. So that was another level of problems that I had to solve.
Wow. So there's other grow medias out there, right? I went to a conference about a year ago on indoor agriculture, and that's when I first started learning a lot more about grow media. We saw different grow medias. Clay pellets and coconut husks seem to be the most popular ones, but they're nothing like the intelligent grow media that you have created.
No, they aren't. The clay pellets and gravel and lava rock, and there's a lot of different media used for hydroponics. I've even seen sand used, and even glass beads. I've seen glass beads used.
Yeah.
So these are all things that can create that root support, The challenge with that kind of grow media is it requires a continuous flow of water and nutrient, basically bathed over the roots or flushed through it. There's systems that the water flushes in and out of the system and supplies those roots with water and nutrient, but that cycle can never end. It is a continuous flow environment, and without that continuous flow, the plants won't grow in that hydroponic environment.
So when we talk about the functions of soil, which are the delivery of the water, the nutrients, the minerals, the oxygen and the nitrogen to the roots, those other grow media don't do any of that stuff. In fact, do they get in the way of delivering that, or they just make it because you have to have a greater water flow to kind of work around the deficiencies of those types of grow media?
You have to have a greater water flow to work around the deficiencies, because there's no significant particles of organic material in that grow media to absorb and hold that water. And if you attempt to put that kind of material in there, that organic material, you'll have mold and fungus problems, and not the good kind of fungus that's transporting minerals, but the bad kind of fungus that acts like a pathogen and can kill your plants.
Wow. So intelligent grow media then, does so much more than other forms of grow media. It really assists in the delivery of the water and the nutrients and the minerals and the oxygen and all that to the roots of the plant, right?
It does. And when you look at things like coconut husk or peat moss, which I've seen used as well, when you look at those kinds of media, they also require a continuous flow, and they have that same problem of being biological, and so they can add things to your water nutrient mix that you don't want. And so you have to get them from a very reliable source, and even then you can have issues with those. And I don't want to make a claim that those are pervasive issues, but they are issues, and those are things that I wanted to work around. So intelligent grow media is an open mesh of fabric, and that open mesh of fabric is a characteristic that we can engineer and control. And by engineering and controlling that mesh, we can control the amount of water that this fabric can convey, essentially. So our grow media is, think of it this way, it's thousands of pathways for the water and nutrients to travel on to get to the roots of the plant.
Wow. I love that. Thousands of pathways for the water to travel to get to the roots of the plants. Yesterday in our Zoomcast, we talked about one of the real challenges, well, lots of challenges with traditional soil gardening. One of them being that you don't know what you've got there unless you've done a lot of scientific testing of the soil itself, that there are a lot of different types of soil. It can be sandy and loamy, or it can be clay, or it can be rich bottomland. It can be all kinds of different things. And the farmer really has to be, I would say, experienced and intelligent in order to get the most out of the soil that is presented in their particular farm. But even once they understand how the soil is comprised, they still get the problem with overwatering and underwatering, because I don't know what percentage farms in the United States are irrigated, but there's a whole bunch of land I know in my home state of Kansas that doesn't have irrigation. It's just depending upon good fortune to deliver the right amount of moisture or an adequate amount of moisture in order to enable a harvest. So talk about how intelligent grow media is even better than soil in many, many cases, because it solves the overwatering and underwatering problem.
So intelligent grow media is an engineered material that delivers a precise amount of water and nutrient to the roots of the plant. And how that is different is you can create soils that deliver very precise amounts of water and nutrient to the roots of the plant. However, you have to know how to do that. And what Intelligent Grow Media does is it takes that educated amendments out of the equation. So you no longer need to know how to amend your soil to get to good water and nutrient delivery. The other thing that's significantly different about Intelligent Grow Media from other hydroponic systems, most hydroponic systems are delivering water from the top, or they're flushing the system with water, or they're a deep well system where the plants are floating on a raft and the roots are always in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Our system is using a very small amount of water that is held in a grow tray at the bottom of the grow bin, and the Intelligent Grow Media sits in the bottom of that grow tray, and it wicks that moisture up to the plant roots. And this delivery system of bottom up creates several advantages over soil. And if you want to see this in nature, it's really easy to see here in Utah, where we live in a desert. You'll see this desert landscape, and here's this green spot. And there's no surface water there. That water, usually on a hillside, is coming up from below the soil. The rain has percolated down in, and it's not enough to create a spring, but it creates a little oasis in the desert. And that's how our system works, is the water's delivered from underneath. Here's the key advantages to that. Number one, it means that our hydroponics uses the least amount of water of any farming technology. Because that water doesn't make it to the surface, there's very little evaporation. The water loss is actually in the transpiration of the plant, and when you harvest the plant and use it for food, that's when you're taking the water out of the system. So there's a little bit of transpiration, and then there's the harvesting, and that's where the water leaves the system. We have systems that are using only about a cup of water a day to about a liter of water a day, even in the hottest temperatures.
Wow.
The other advantage to that is that we end up with a water stratification in our system. And how I have demonstrated that is I grow water-loving plants right next to plants that like well-drained, dry soil. Now, how is that possible? The reason it's possible is each plant sends its roots down to where it can exist in equilibrium and in its happy place, to simplify the terms. So the roots grow down to the water supply that they need, and once they've done that, they no longer need to grow except to support the sugar storage for the plant. They don't have to grow deeper. The stratification of the moisture in the system allows plants to exist and thrive where they want to.
Wow. So to kind of bring that into our human-powered hydroponic systems, that is the focus of Ascending Harvest. You know, we want to deliver tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of these systems to families in developing countries and refugee camps to enable them to grow their own food. What that means is our systems don't take as much water as even other hydroponic systems, which already, you know, save 90 to 95% of the water in traditional farming and gardening. And they don't have to know how much to water their plants. They can grow plants in the larger systems, grow plants side by side that have different watering requirements, and they don't have to know that. They don't have to worry about that. All they have to do is add a little bit of water each day, you know, pump the system a little bit, and off they go. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Not only do they not have to know how much water, but they don't have to know how to amend the soil. They don't have to know how much organic material needs to go in the soil in order to have a healthy soil mix that will hold the water. The intelligent grow media holds the water for the system and delivers it precisely, consistently. So once the roots of that plant grow to where that plant is happy, all the work is done. So the plant does not need to establish large root systems, and the energy of the plant goes into the top, the productivity of the plant, or in the case where we're combining with soil into the root of the vegetable that we want to eat. And in our human-powered hydroponic systems, we do combine soil with intelligent grow media. The two work in unison, and that is another thing that intelligent grow media allows, is it's literally the only hydroponic system that is a hybrid. It's both hydroponic and soil, and you get the benefits of both without the limitations of having to have the lifetime of experience to know how much organic material to put in the soil and how much water to give your plant.
So we could add soil to the intelligent grow media, create that hybrid system, which is something that no other hydroponic system can do. What are the advantages of having that kind of a hybrid system?
Well, the greatest advantage is that we get consistent water and nutrient delivery, and we get all of those benefits of healthy soil. So we get the microbiology. We can put the worms in there. When we mulch the top of the system, which is something that you don't do in other hydroponics, you mulch your system, and the biology in the system breaks down that mulch and it becomes plant food. The ability to create its own nutrients to grow that plant is something that you can't do in other hydroponic systems. Our system is the only system that you can go out and harvest non-toxic organic materials and put it in your system, and it will break it down into plant food. And we have some other proprietary things that are trade secrets that we're not going to talk about yet that further assist in that breaking down of those organic materials and basically digest them into bioavailable nutrients for the plant. But we'll save that for a little bit later time. And the keystone is the intelligent grow media, which is the delivery system, which is completely unique, and which is why we've filed for a patent on that technology.
Shane, I am absolutely blown away. I've heard you talk about intelligent grow media for a long time, but never, as clearly and concisely as you have with yesterday and today. So I am just plain excited to see what we can do after we produce 10,000, 100,000 systems, and we're able to really refine this to where it can help families even more. I know the systems we have right now today are going to be incredibly beneficial, but I'm a huge believer in continuous process improvement and continuous improvement of all kind. In years to come, our systems are going to be 10%, 20%, maybe even more efficient than they are today with testing and refinement of the materials and the delivery system and all that. We're going to make a huge, huge difference in the way the world grows its food. And I am delighted about that.
I agree, Paul. And right now we have a proprietary material and a proprietary combination of materials that's only going to improve. I've made dramatic strides in just the 4 years since inventing it. And now is the time to introduce this material and get it into the hands of literally thousands of people and start witnessing their success and their failures, should there be any failures, which we know there is going to be some failures, but those are the things that we learn from.
Yeah.
And our testing has pointed us in the right direction for the best initial success. And I'm extremely confident that we are going to help people grow a lot of food.
That is so awesome. I'm very excited about getting this in the hands of lots and lots of people. And well, first of all, before we go into the final section here of our program, anything else, any other comments on Intelligent Grow Media. Can you wrap it up in 15 or 30 seconds?
Yes. Intelligent Grow Media is something that is completely different than anything that's ever been introduced into farming. And it's literally going to revolutionize the way that we grow certain crops.
That is so awesome. Let's see what we can't do about giving away a system right now so we can get one of these systems in the hands of somebody who went to our website at ascendingharvest.com and signed up for our list, which made them eligible for the prizes that we have and the prize that we're going to give away here in a little bit. So if you haven't done so yet, please do that. Go to ascendingharvest.com, give us your email address. We just send out an occasional email, but more importantly, it makes you eligible for these prizes that we're giving away every single day with more prizes to come. And if you would please, go to Ascending Harvest page on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Ascending Harvest. And if you would please like that page, share these posts with people, especially the one yesterday and today that talk about soil and intelligent grow media. And if you've got a few seconds, go to YouTube and look us up on YouTube. We need 100 subscribers so that we can get a custom URL. Right now the URL is something I don't even know what it is. You have to search for it. But we'd love your support of this project, because in about 30 days or less, I think we're down to 2 or 3 weeks now, we're going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign. We want to raise some initial funds so we can create additional prototypes, further refine the human-powered hydroponic systems and intelligent grow media, go to Washington, D.C., present this project to large aid organizations, and petition them to deliver hopefully hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant money so that we can begin to manufacture these systems in volume and deliver tens of thousands of them to families who really need them today. So please help us out in that way. And now we're going to help somebody out with a prize drawing. Every day I ask Shane to give me a number between 1 and 10,000, and I put it into the list of people who I've already assigned random numbers from, or two who have signed up for our list, and we come up with a winner. So Shane, what's the magic number between 1 and 10,000 today?
And I use a random number generator online, so I'm just going to generate, and here we go. It is 5801.
5801. I type into my magic spreadsheet, and the person who is closest to that is Jeffrey Flam. Jeffrey Flam's a great friend and colleague from Salt Lake City that we've known for a while. Shane knows him better than I, but he'll be excited.
And here's the fun thing about Jeffrey Flam. His family ranch is just over the hill from where I grew up in Wyoming. So Jeffrey and I were neighbors as kids, and we're neighbors now. We live in the same area of Salt Lake City.
Well, I'll send him an email and with congratulations and let him pick up his human-powered hydroponic system probably in Q1 of 2019 when we begin to manufacture these in volumes. And I know he's going to be delighted with that, because he's probably got some places out on his ranch that don't have electricity and that can use the power of intelligent grow media and the human-powered systems to grow plants where there is no electricity. That's pretty cool. I like it. I'm glad that he won that. He's really a good man.
He really is.
Really.
Congratulations, Jeff. I look forward to handing it to you in person.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Well, thank you for all of you who tuned in today to watch part 2 of our series on intelligent grow media. If you haven't watched part 1, watch it again, or watch it again, because I think that we have delivered over the course of the last 2 days some incredibly valuable and interesting information on why human-powered hydroponic systems are really a disruptive technology in the world of gardening. We're going to come back at you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, and we'll deliver another daily update, which we intend to do every day for the next 4 to 5 weeks as we lead up to and go through our crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo that'll be starting in mid-September. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for attending live. Thank you for signing up at our webpage at ascendingharvest.com, and we'll see you tomorrow. Say goodbye, Shane.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.
Bye now.